As we age, one of the most overlooked pillars of longevity isn't diet or exercise, it's sleep. Yet for millions of older adults, restorative sleep feels almost impossible. You wake up at 3 a.m., mind racing, you toss and turn, you feel tired all day, but the moment your head hits the pillow, your brain lights up again. This isn't just getting older, it's a biological shift. Your circadian rhythm, melatonin production, and cellular repair all begin to change with age. But here's the exciting part. Food can actually reset your sleep clock. Today we'll uncover 7 scientifically backed foods that can help you sleep deeper, longer, and more naturally than ever before. And just as importantly, how to eat them for maximum benefit. Because when you sleep better, you don't just wake up refreshed, you slow aging, balance hormones, and improve memory and immunity. So let's explore the foods that don't just feed your body, they reprogram your biology for better sleep and longer life. As we grow older, one of the first biological systems to show signs of wear is our sleep architecture. Many people accept restless nights and early awakenings as an unavoidable part of aging, but it's not simply a matter of getting old. It's a direct reflection of how our internal clocks, hormones, and cellular repair mechanisms begin to shift with time. At the center of this process lies the circadian rhythm, the internal 24-hour clock that governs when we sleep, wake, eat, and even when our cells repair themselves. This rhythm is regulated by a tiny region of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, which responds primarily to light. In youth, this clock runs with precision. But as we age, the synchronization between our internal rhythm and the external world weakens. The SCN becomes less sensitive to environmental cues, like daylight and darkness. The result? Irregular sleep patterns, lighter sleep, and difficulty maintaining deep, restorative stages of rest. One of the key players in this decline is melatonin, often referred to as the sleep hormone, produced by the pineal gland. Melatonin helps signal to the body that it's time to wind down. But starting around midlife, melatonin production drops sharply. By the time we reach our 60s or 70s, nighttime melatonin levels can be less than half of what they were in our 20s. This reduction not only makes it harder to fall asleep, but also reduces the quality of sleep, particularly the deep, slow-wave stages that are essential for cellular recovery, memory consolidation, and immune function. Another subtle but powerful factor is the decline in mitochondrial efficiency, the energy-producing structures inside our cells. When mitochondria function less effectively, it impacts every tissue, including the brain. Poor mitochondrial health has been linked to disruptions in circadian rhythm and neurochemical balance. The brain's ability to cycle naturally between wakefulness and sleep becomes impaired, leading to that frustrating pattern of fatigue during the day and alertness at night. Sleep deprivation, even mild and chronic, has consequences far beyond tiredness. It accelerates biological aging. Studies show that insufficient deep sleep increases oxidative stress, damages DNA, and disrupts sirtuin activity, the same longevity pathways my own research focuses on. In fact, sirtuins like SIRT1 are intimately connected to circadian rhythm regulation. When sleep is disrupted, sirtuin signaling declines, and when sirtuin function is impaired, the sleep cycle becomes even more unstable. It's a vicious loop of cellular miscommunication that promotes faster aging. Additionally, hormonal changes that accompany aging, especially reductions in growth hormone, estrogen, and testosterone, further influence sleep quality. Growth hormone, for example, is released during deep sleep and helps repair tissues, build muscle, and maintain metabolism. When sleep becomes fragmented, growth hormone secretion plummets, compounding the problem by further weakening the body's ability to repair itself. The brain's neurotransmitters also shift with age. The balance between excitatory chemicals like glutamate and calming ones like GABA becomes skewed. Older adults tend to have lower GABA activity, which means their brains are less able to quiet down before bedtime. That's why many seniors describe their minds as racing at night, even when they're exhausted. Environmental and behavioral factors amplify this biological decline. Exposure to artificial light at night, especially blue light from screens, can suppress the already weakened melatonin response. Inconsistent meal timing, late-night snacking, and lack of sunlight exposure during the day further desynchronize the circadian rhythm. Over time, these patterns create a sleep-wake cycle that is misaligned with natural biology, a state known as circadian misalignment, which is strongly associated with metabolic disorders, cognitive decline, and accelerated aging. But perhaps most importantly, this decline in sleep quality isn't just about the number of hours spent in bed. It's about the depth and timing of sleep. Older adults often experience less slow-wave sleep and REM sleep, the stages crucial for memory, learning, and emotional balance. Deep sleep is when the brain literally washes itself through the glymphatic system, clearing out beta amyloid and other toxic waste products. When this process is disrupted, those toxins accumulate, increasing the risk of neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. So, what can we do about it? The encouraging news is that these age-related changes aren't irreversible. Research increasingly shows that our sleep biology can be retrained. Through light exposure, meal timing, and especially through nutrition, we can help restore balance to the circadian system and support melatonin and serotonin synthesis naturally. In essence, sleep is not just a passive state of rest. It's an active biological repair process, a nightly rejuvenation mechanism that keeps our metabolism, memory, and longevity genes functioning optimally. When sleep breaks down with age, the entire system of cellular maintenance begins to falter. But by understanding the root causes, circadian disruption, hormonal decline, mitochondrial dysfunction, and nutrient imbalances, we gain the power to intervene. For seniors, improving sleep isn't a luxury, it's a biological necessity for healthy aging. Deep, consistent sleep is when your body regenerates, your brain clears toxins, and your longevity pathways switch on. Restoring it is one of the most powerful anti-aging strategies available, and it begins not with a pill or a gadget, but with understanding how food, light, and daily rhythm can realign your body's internal clock for the sleep you once had, and the vitality you still deserve. When we think about sleep, we rarely think about food. Most people separate the two entirely. Sleep is something we do at night. Food is something we consume during the day. But biology doesn't make that distinction. Every bite of food you eat influences your brain chemistry, hormones, and cellular function, and that includes the systems that govern sleep. The foods you choose can either promote a calm, restorative night or keep your nervous system alert long after you've turned off the lights. At its core, sleep is a neurochemical process, not just a behavioral one. The brain relies on a delicate balance of molecules like tryptophan, serotonin, melatonin, and magnesium to transition smoothly into deep sleep. These compounds don't come from thin air. They're built from the raw materials in your diet. That's why I often say your dinner tonight shapes your sleep tonight. Let's start with tryptophan, an essential amino acid found in protein-rich foods such as turkey, eggs, pumpkin seeds, and salmon. Your body can't produce tryptophan on its own, so it must come from your diet. Once consumed, tryptophan crosses the blood-brain barrier and is converted into serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of calm and well-being. As night falls, serotonin is then converted into melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. But here's the catch: tryptophan needs help to reach your brain efficiently. This is where the concept of nutrient synergy comes into play. Tryptophan competes with other amino acids for entry into the brain. To give it an advantage, it's best paired with complex carbohydrates such as oats or sweet potatoes, which trigger a mild insulin response that drives competing amino acids into muscle tissue, leaving tryptophan free to enter the brain and promote melatonin production. It's one of the simplest, most natural ways to encourage sleep through food chemistry. Another crucial nutrient is magnesium, often called nature's tranquilizer. It helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and repair mode. Magnesium supports the function of GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that slows down brain activity. Without enough magnesium, neurons remain overexcited, making it harder to relax before bed. Unfortunately, magnesium deficiency is common, especially in older adults, due to reduced intestinal absorption and soil depletion in modern agriculture. Foods like leafy greens, almonds, avocados, and dark chocolate are rich sources, and including them regularly can make a measurable difference in sleep quality. But it's not only about increasing sleep-promoting nutrients, It's also about reducing sleep disruptors. Caffeine, alcohol, and heavy late-night meals can profoundly interfere with the body's ability to enter restorative sleep cycles. Even moderate alcohol intake may help you fall asleep faster, but leads to fragmented sleep and reduced REM, the phase vital for memory consolidation and emotional balance. In the context of aging, our nutritional needs become even more important. As melatonin and serotonin levels naturally decline, the body relies more heavily on dietary precursors to maintain proper production. This is why nutrient-rich, balanced meals are so critical for older adults. They provide the building blocks to sustain optimal hormone and neurotransmitter balance. Let's also consider omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, which play a key role in regulating circadian rhythm and reducing inflammation in the brain. Chronic low-grade inflammation or inflammaging disrupts neural communication and sleep-regulating centers in the hypothalamus. By increasing omega-3 intake through fatty fish, chia seeds, or flaxseed oil, we can help calm inflammation and restore balance in the neural circuits that govern sleep-wake cycles. Equally important is vitamin B6, which acts as a cofactor in the conversion of tryptophan to serotonin. Without sufficient B6, even a diet rich in tryptophan may not yield higher serotonin levels. Foods like bananas, chickpeas, and sunflower seeds are simple, accessible sources that support this conversion process. Then there's glycine, a small amino acid that's often overlooked. Research has shown that glycine can reduce the body's core temperature, signaling to the brain that it's time for rest. A lower body temperature is one of the key physiological triggers for sleep onset. You can find glycine in bone broth, collagen-rich meats, or supplements. When consumed before bedtime, it promotes relaxation and improves sleep quality without grogginess. Taken together, these nutrients form a symphony of biochemical signals, each one contributing to the body's readiness to rest and recover. What's fascinating is that food doesn't just passively support sleep, it can actually reset the body's sleep-wake rhythm. For example, timing your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bedtime helps align metabolic activity with your circadian rhythm. Eating too close to sleep keeps insulin elevated and body temperature high, both of which suppress melatonin release. This connection between food and sleep is a clear example of what I call nutritional circadian alignment, using meal composition and timing to reinforce the body's natural rhythms. When we nourish the brain with the right compounds at the right times, we can restore the precision of our biological clock and reclaim the deep, rejuvenating sleep that so often fades with age. Ultimately, food is not just fuel, it's information. Every meal sends signals to our genes, determining which pathways activate or shut down. Nutrients that promote sleep do more than help us rest. They activate cellular repair, reduce oxidative stress, and enhance the function of longevity genes like the sirtuins. This means a good night's sleep isn't just about feeling rested tomorrow morning. It's about slowing biological aging and protecting the brain for decades to come. For seniors, this understanding is transformative. By consciously selecting foods that support melatonin production, calm the nervous system, and align with circadian biology, you can literally reprogram your body to sleep like you did years ago, naturally, deeply, and without dependency on pills. The power to restore your sleep lies not in your bedroom, but in your kitchen. In the world of longevity and sleep science, one truth has become increasingly clear. When you eat may be just as important as what you eat. Timing influences everything: your hormones, metabolism, circadian rhythm, and ultimately the quality of your sleep. For most of human history, our eating patterns were synchronized with natural light cycles. We ate when the sun was up and rested when it was dark. But modern life has completely disrupted that rhythm. Artificial lighting, late-night snacking, and irregular meal times have created a state of biological confusion, and the result is often poor sleep, weight gain, and accelerated aging. Our body runs on an intricate internal timing system governed by the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour biological clock that regulates virtually every process, from hormone release to digestion to cellular repair. This rhythm is controlled by a group of clock genes found in nearly every cell. They keep the body in sync with the environment, optimizing function during the day for activity and energy production, and shifting at night toward restoration and repair. However, the circadian system is not self-sustaining. It relies on external cues called Zeitgebers or time givers. The most powerful of these cues are light and food. When we eat late at night, we send a confusing signal to our internal clocks. While the brain's central clock in the hypothalamus may be winding down for sleep, the peripheral clocks in the liver, gut, and pancreas are suddenly reactivated by incoming food. This mismatch, what scientists call circadian misalignment, disrupts hormone secretion, glucose metabolism, and melatonin release. The consequence is a cascade of biological confusion. Your body tries to digest and process food at the very time it's meant to rest and repair. Studies from leading chronobiology labs have shown that eating within a restricted window, typically 8 to 10 hours during the day, enhances metabolic health, stabilizes blood sugar, and promotes deeper, more restorative sleep. This practice, often referred to as time-restricted eating (TURI), aligns the body's feeding cycles with natural circadian rhythms. When we finish our last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, melatonin levels rise smoothly, body temperature drops, and the brain enters the conditions necessary for sleep initiation. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. Our ancestors did not have access to refrigerators, artificial light, or midnight snacks. Their bodies evolved to process food during daylight hours. Today, when we continue to eat late into the night, especially heavy, calorie-dense meals, we're asking our bodies to perform metabolic tasks at a time when insulin sensitivity is at its lowest and digestive efficiency is diminished. That excess glucose and fat doesn't get processed effectively. It circulates longer in the blood, disturbing sleep and promoting inflammation. Even more striking, new evidence shows that eating late shifts the release of melatonin, the hormone that signals the body it's time to sleep. When food is consumed close to bedtime, the digestive process delays melatonin's rise, tricking the body into thinking it's still daytime. This leads to shallow, fragmented sleep, and often results in waking up feeling unrefreshed, even after what seems like a full night's rest. Conversely, when meals are timed earlier, around sunset, the body's metabolic and hormonal rhythms align. Insulin levels fall naturally in the evening, allowing fat burning and cellular cleanup processes like autophagy to activate overnight. Autophagy is essentially the body's internal recycling program. It clears out damaged proteins, removes dysfunctional mitochondria, and rejuvenates cells. But this process only happens when the digestive system is quiet. Late-night eating effectively cancels this nightly repair cycle. There's also a fascinating interplay between meal timing and core body temperature. Eating raises your body temperature as metabolism ramps up. However, to fall asleep, the brain requires a drop in core temperature. When you eat late, you keep your body temperature elevated, signaling wakefulness rather than rest. This is one of the reasons why even a small snack before bed can interfere with sleep onset and quality. Timing also affects the production of key sleep-related hormones. The body's cortisol, which helps regulate alertness, peaks in the morning and falls in the evening. When meals are consumed irregularly or too late, cortisol rhythms can shift, keeping the body in a mild state of alertness at night. This disruption not only affects sleep but can also accelerate biological aging by impairing DNA repair mechanisms and sirtuin activation, the same longevity pathways that protect our cells from damage. For seniors, aligning meal timing becomes especially vital. As we age, our circadian rhythm weakens, melatonin production drops, and metabolism slows. But the remarkable discovery from modern research is that timing can retrain the clock. By simply adjusting when you eat, you can reinforce your body's natural rhythms and improve sleep without any medication. Finishing dinner by early evening, avoiding heavy meals after sunset, and maintaining consistent meal times day after day sends a powerful signal to your biology. It's time to rest. This concept isn't about strict fasting, it's about metabolic rhythm. When you eat in sync with daylight, you strengthen the synchronization between your brain's central clock and your organs' peripheral clocks. The result is more stable energy during the day and more restorative sleep at night. Your body begins to anticipate rest, lowering cortisol, increasing melatonin, and activating the genetic repair programs that keep cells young and resilient. In short, Timing your meals properly is one of the most natural and effective sleep aids available, and it costs nothing. It's not about restriction, but rhythm. When you stop eating a few hours before bed, you're not depriving your body, you're giving it the freedom to do what it was designed to do: repair, restore, and rejuvenate. This simple act of honoring your body's clock can transform not just your nights, but your health, energy, and longevity as a whole. In the complex biology of sleep, nutrients don't act alone. They work in harmony, orchestrating biochemical pathways that calm the brain, regulate hormones, and prepare the body for rest. This is what scientists call nutrient synergy, the idea that the interaction between certain vitamins, minerals, and amino acids creates effects far greater than any single nutrient could achieve alone. When it comes to sleep, this synergy is not only powerful but essential, especially as we age. Most people know about melatonin, the hormone that signals the body it's time to sleep, but melatonin doesn't simply appear at night like clockwork. It's produced through a precise chain of biochemical reactions. The amino acid tryptophan is converted into 5-HTP, then into serotonin, and finally into melatonin. Every step in this process requires specific nutrients, including vitamin B6, magnesium, and zinc, to function properly. If even one element in this chain is missing, the entire system weakens. That's why eating certain foods together rather than in isolation can dramatically improve sleep quality. Consider the relationship between tryptophan and complex carbohydrates. Tryptophan-rich foods such as turkey, eggs, nuts, and seeds provide the raw material for serotonin and melatonin synthesis. However, tryptophan competes with other amino acids to cross the blood-brain barrier. When consumed with complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, quinoa, or oats, insulin helps move competing amino acids into muscle tissue, clearing the path for tryptophan to enter the brain. The result? More serotonin, more melatonin, and deeper, more restorative sleep. This is why a small, balanced snack of protein and complex carbs a few hours before bedtime, for instance, a handful of pumpkin seeds with a slice of banana, can help the body wind down naturally. Another essential pairing involves magnesium and vitamin B6. Magnesium is crucial for activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode, while B6 helps convert tryptophan into serotonin. When combined, they amplify each other's effects, calming the nervous system and promoting steady melatonin production. Foods like salmon, spinach, and avocados naturally contain both nutrients, creating a biologically powerful combination that encourages relaxation and stable mood before sleep. Calcium also plays an underappreciated role in sleep synergy. It works hand in hand with magnesium to regulate muscle relaxation and nerve function. Calcium supports the conversion of tryptophan into melatonin inside the pineal gland, while magnesium prevents muscle cramps and nighttime restlessness. This is one reason why people with low dietary magnesium or calcium often experience insomnia or frequent awakenings during the night. A simple combination like yogurt with almonds or a small serving of sardines with leafy greens can restore this mineral balance and improve sleep continuity. There's also a fascinating connection between omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D in the regulation of serotonin. Omega-3 seros, especially DHA, enhance the fluidity of brain cell membranes, allowing for more efficient neurotransmitter signaling. Vitamin D, on the other hand, activates the genes responsible for serotonin production. In older adults, both omega-3 levels and vitamin D synthesis from sunlight tend to decline. This dual deficiency often manifests as mood instability, anxiety, and disrupted sleep. Reintroducing these nutrients through diet, such as eating fatty fish like salmon or sardines, paired with sun exposure or vitamin D, rich foods, helps restore serotonin balance and, by extension, supports melatonin rhythm. Another synergistic pair worth noting is glycine and collagen. Glycine, an amino acid abundant in collagen-rich foods like bone broth and gelatin, has a cooling effect on the body, reducing core temperature, a necessary step for sleep onset. When consumed alongside small amounts of magnesium or calcium, glycine further enhances relaxation and supports stable REM sleep cycles. It's a natural, gentle way to trigger the body's internal sleep switch without pharmaceutical intervention. But synergy isn't only about nutrients that calm the nervous system. It's also about those that stabilize blood sugar. Fluctuating glucose levels during the night can trigger cortisol release, waking you up in the early hours. Pairing slow digesting carbohydrates with healthy fats or proteins, such as oats with walnuts or apples with nut butter, slows glucose absorption and prevents these nighttime spikes and crashes. Stable blood sugar means fewer interruptions in your sleep cycle and more time spent in deep, rejuvenating stages of rest. What's remarkable about nutrient synergy is how it mirrors the elegance of natural systems. Our biology evolved not to process isolated compounds, but to interpret food as a collection of signals that work together. This is why supplements, while sometimes useful, can't fully replicate the complexity of whole foods. When you eat a balanced meal with the right combinations of nutrients, you're sending precise, coordinated messages to your brain and cells, messages that say, it's safe, it's time to rest. For older adults, this synergy is even more important. With age, nutrient absorption declines, enzyme activity slows, and the body becomes less efficient at producing sleep-related hormones. Combining foods strategically helps bypass these inefficiencies. For example, pairing a magnesium-rich food like spinach with a source of healthy fat, such as olive oil, improves magnesium absorption. Similarly, eating foods high in zinc, like pumpkin seeds, alongside those rich in vitamin B6, enhances serotonin synthesis more effectively than either nutrient alone. Ultimately, food synergy represents the holistic nature of biology. Sleep doesn't depend on one magic nutrient or supplement. It's the cumulative effect of many systems working together. The same foods that calm the nervous system also reduce inflammation, stabilize metabolism, and support mitochondrial health, all essential elements of longevity. By consciously pairing the right nutrients, tryptophan with complex carbs, magnesium with vitamin B6, calcium with melatonin precursors, omega-3 ces with vitamin D, you can unlock your body's innate ability to rest deeply and heal nightly. This isn't about creating a perfect diet. It's about creating harmony. When the body's chemistry is aligned through food synergy, sleep becomes effortless, restorative, and profoundly rejuvenating, a nightly reset for both body and mind. When most people think about slowing aging, they focus on diet, exercise, or supplements, but sleep is perhaps the most powerful, yet most underestimated longevity tool available. Sleep is not just rest, it's a form of internal medicine, a nightly therapy that rebuilds the body, resets the mind, and extends lifespan at the cellular level. In my view, consistent, restorative sleep is as vital to longevity as calorie restriction, fasting, or activating sirtuin pathways. It's during sleep that the body performs its deepest rejuvenation, repairing DNA, clearing out toxins, and recalibrating the very systems that keep us young. The science is remarkably clear. People who sleep well not only live longer, but age more slowly at the biological level. Deep sleep activates processes that strengthen the immune system, enhance insulin sensitivity, and preserve brain function. Inadequate sleep, on the other hand, accelerates aging by increasing inflammation, damaging DNA, and impairing mitochondrial performance, the very cellular engines that fuel life itself. During sleep, the body enters a state of metabolic restoration. Growth hormone surges, stimulating tissue repair and muscle regeneration. The liver detoxifies accumulated byproducts from metabolism. Most importantly, the brain engages its self-cleaning mechanism, the glymphatic system, which flushes out beta amyloid and tau proteins, the same toxins implicated in Alzheimer's disease. This process operates almost exclusively during deep sleep. Without sufficient slow-wave sleep, these waste products build up, impairing cognition and accelerating neurodegeneration. For older adults, improving sleep quality can literally mean preserving years of brain health. On a cellular level, sleep is when the body carries out its DNA repair operations. Every day, exposure to sunlight, pollution, and stress causes DNA damage. Normally, the body's repair enzymes and longevity genes, including SIRT1, SIRT3, and PARP1, get to work while we sleep, restoring the integrity of our genetic material. But when sleep is disrupted or shortened, these repair pathways are compromised. Over time, the accumulation of unrepaired DNA damage drives aging, leading to cellular senescence and chronic inflammation, what researchers now call inflammaging. In this sense, losing sleep is not just about feeling tired, it's about losing years of biological vitality. Melatonin, often thought of simply as the sleep hormone, plays a much deeper role in longevity. It's one of the body's most potent antioxidants, protecting mitochondria, the powerhouses of the cell, from oxidative damage. As we age, natural melatonin production declines, and mitochondria become more vulnerable. Supporting melatonin through proper nutrition, light exposure, and circadian alignment helps preserve mitochondrial efficiency, which is central to slowing the aging process. When mitochondria function optimally, cells generate energy more cleanly, with less oxidative stress, and the entire body ages more gracefully. Sleep also regulates metabolic health, which in turn determines lifespan. During deep sleep, insulin sensitivity improves, allowing the body to maintain balanced blood glucose levels. Chronic sleep deprivation, even for just a few nights, has been shown to induce a pre-diabetic state, raising cortisol and impairing glucose metabolism. Over time, this contributes to fat accumulation, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes, conditions that not only shorten life, but also diminish its quality. Restoring sleep is therefore one of the simplest and most effective ways to reverse metabolic dysfunction without medication. From the perspective of brain health, sleep functions like nightly neurotherapy. It consolidates memory, integrates learning, and regulates mood. When the brain doesn't get enough REM sleep, emotional control and decision-making falter, while stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated. Chronic elevation of cortisol accelerates cellular aging, shortens telomeres, and increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Deep, consistent sleep, in contrast, reduces cortisol and boosts BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a molecule that supports neuroplasticity, learning, and resilience against neurodegenerative disease. For seniors, the connection between sleep and longevity becomes even more pronounced. As the circadian rhythm weakens with age, sleep tends to become lighter and more fragmented. This doesn't just cause fatigue, it disrupts every system tied to long-term health, hormonal balance, immune defense, and even gene expression. Yet the remarkable truth is that the aging sleep system can be retrained. Through light exposure, proper meal timing, and nutrient support, it's possible to reinforce the body's natural sleep-wake cycles and restore the depth and quality of rest that fuels longevity. Emerging research also shows that sleep amplifies the effects of longevity interventions like fasting and calorie restriction. During sleep, the body enters a fasted state, activating AMPK and sirtuin pathways that promote cellular repair and metabolic efficiency. This means that good sleep doesn't just complement a longevity-focused lifestyle, it magnifies it. Without sufficient sleep, these same pathways fail to activate effectively, reducing the benefits of otherwise healthy habits. Think of sleep as the biological bridge between today and tomorrow. It's the period when your cells clean up yesterday's damage and prepare you for the challenges of the next day. Every hour of deep sleep extends the life of your mitochondria, strengthens your DNA repair machinery, and supports the delicate hormonal symphony that keeps aging at bay. Neglecting sleep is like skipping maintenance on the most complex machine ever built, your own body. The beauty of this truth is that improving sleep doesn't require advanced technology or expensive therapies. It starts with honoring your natural rhythms, aligning with daylight, eating earlier in the evening, reducing artificial light exposure at night, and supporting your sleep chemistry through the right foods. These simple shifts, when done consistently, can restore the biological harmony that promotes both sleep and longevity. In the end, sleep is not a passive state. It's active rejuvenation. It's when your longevity genes switch on, your brain clears its toxins, and your body resets its systems for another day of life. The more you protect and prioritize sleep, the more effectively you protect your future. For anyone seeking to live longer, stronger, and sharper, sleep is not optional. It is, quite literally, the medicine of longevity itself.